Welcome to Watches with Dennis, and today I am reviewing Swatch's Flower Bay, reference SUOZ232. This watch is from my personal collection. It was purchased new, and I've owned it a few weeks at this point. This is actually my first Swatch. I was interested in getting something with a red dial and saw this one available on the gray market. The Flower Bay is actually a destination watch that was designed for Hong Kong sales. So let's go ahead and take some measurements. According to my calipers, the watch is 41 millimeters in diameter. The watch's lug to lug is 47.1 millimeters. The watch's thickness is 10.3 millimeters. And the watch's lug width is 20 millimeters. This watch offers 30 meters of water resistance. The red watch case is plastic and feels reasonably sturdy. The dial itself is basic with a red sunburst pattern and baton markers for the hours and baton hands. I've repeatedly in watch listings for this model seen the hands described as a silver tone, but personally I think they come across as white. The hour markers match the hands, as does the Swatch branding up at the 12 o'clock position. I'm not sure you'll be able to make it out, but beneath the 6 o'clock marker there is some copyright text. It's almost invisible due to it being the same color as the dial. This watch has no lume, and the dial is protected by a plexiglass crystal. The strap on the watch is silicone with white printing on it related to this particular model, and this does seem to be pretty easy to scratch in terms of the text that appears, or in this case, the white box, as you can see here in the image. The watch uses a pin buckle system, and the pin buckle itself is also made out of red plastic. The crown on this watch is not a screw-down crown, so in position 0, as it is right now, all the way into the case, the crown does spin freely, but it doesn't do anything. When pulled out into position 1, the watch does nothing as well. So I believe this movement accommodates dates, and this is a ghost date position and would do something on a watch if it actually had date discs, but this one does not. So pulling it out again into position 2, you'll notice the watch does not hack. However, this is where the watch can be set for what time it is, as such. This watch features a closed case back, concealing a quartz movement. You can see that they do provide for easy access to change out the battery. Information about the movement online is, as near as I could find, virtually non-existent. So I actually went ahead and wrote into Swatch asking them about the movement in this watch. They told me that it is the ETA caliber 273.001. When I put that in online into the caliber databases that I'm aware of, I couldn't find any information. So I wrote back to Swatch again, asking them if they could provide me with some more details about the movement. Swatch informed me that Swatch limits the public specifications that they provide because this is a proprietary caliber, but they did give me a few details. So they noted that the movement, which isn't surprising given what we see moving on the dial side, but it is an analog quartz design. It has no jewels. The battery life is roughly 2 to 3 years. That sort of depends on use and storage conditions. And the accuracy of the movement was described as plus or minus 15 to 20 seconds per month. Since this is a quartz movement, I cannot actually give you a reading for my specific model on the time grapher because it wouldn't work. This is how the watch looks on my wrist. For those curious, my wrist size is approximately 6.75 inches. So, what are my overall thoughts on this watch? I'd say 3 main positives would be it's comfortable to wear. If you like red, this watch is very red, and the watch itself is inexpensive. And in terms of 3 negatives, I'd say the plexiglass is easy to scratch, the movement ticking is loud, and the printing on the strap is not robust. I believe this watch retails for $125 US, but you can easily find it online unworn for under $100. The first negative I noticed was how easy it is to damage the print on the strap, because mine actually came with some damage, which I showed you earlier in the video. I kept the watch, but was issued a partial refund for the defect. Nothing in the shipping box made me think it was damaged in transport to me. But what's noteworthy is Swatch's packaging for this model leaves the watch exposed. It's not actually sealed all the way. So it could have really happened at any time in the watch's life cycle, especially as of it being put into a box that doesn't actually cover the watch. The second negative that I noticed owning the watch was just how loud the movement is. I've heard that a number of inexpensive brands have really loud movements, so I'm not particularly surprised in this case. But for me, I think this has displaced my Spiro Agnew vintage watch, which uses a mechanical pin lever escapement that is pretty loud given that metal parts are being struck against rapidly in that movement style. But this is now, I believe, displacing that as the loudest watch in my collection. Finally, the crystal. I knew it was plexiglass, and I've had plexiglass before, but I think this is the softest plexiglass crystal I have ever owned. I've already got some minor scratches in it. You might be able to see it now. You might have seen it earlier while I was holding the watch closer to the camera. But even though I've not done anything notable, like I haven't noticed myself smack this watch into anything, accidentally drop a knife on it, anything like that, I've already started to see marks, and I saw them pretty quickly. Still, one must remember that what we're getting is coming in at a price point that is a lot less than many watches that are out on the market today. The plastic case itself is not refined, but it is comfortable to wear, and the quartz movement keeps this watch pretty thin. I generally like silicone straps, and even as cheap as this one is, it still wears nicely, and I like how it feels. For under $100, you could do a lot worse. For a sometimes style watch, and for me, a red watch is something that I would call a sometimes watch. I wouldn't wear it every single day. I do think this is a good way to play around with some styles you might not normally like, or I should maybe clarify that you wouldn't normally see yourself wearing, but would be put off at a higher price point, wondering, is it really the bang for buck there, spending a lot of money on a watch that is only a sometimes watch? Here, I think the barrier entry for many people would be seen as low enough that it's okay to play around with some styles you might not normally gravitate towards, or some colors you might not normally want to wear, which is why I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this. So while this watch is probably not going to stay in a main rotation wear cycle for me, it wears better than the last red watch I had, and as a sometimes watch, I think is reasonable to keep in the collection. Thanks for watching this review video. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like as it helps the channel out. Subscribe if you'd like to be automatically notified when I release new videos. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.